Happy Sunday, Sooner Nation. Welcome to the Sooner Surge for a little nightly 9:30 live show. What's up, Surgers? I got to start with this comment because, one, I'm fired up. So I got to start with this one from Jackson. The OU game is going to fun tomorrow. Well, I think what you mean is the OU game is going to be fun tomorrow. So I had to start it off with incorrect grammar just because I'm in the mood tonight. So thanks for getting it started off the wrong way. But I do agree, Jackson. OU Iowa going to be a fun showdown between Jenny Bronchek's Sooners versus Iowa. I'm sure the crowd will be great. Sooner fan, I'm not either. I'm not really a wrestling fan at all. I saw 918's comment. To me, when I saw it on TikTok, first of all, and Twitter, I think it was Twitter where I saw it, I was like, what's the big deal? And then you start reading the story. This is absolutely awesome. Second lieutenant, I think, in the Air Force, Donald Trump there to watch it, and then he beats an Olympic champion. That was pretty big time by Wyatt Henderson. Not going to lie. Free for students. It's unbelievable that the second round of the NCAA tournament is free. That's pretty crazy. OU fans need to show out. OU fans need to show out for sure for that. Hey, while we're on it, I got a couple things I'm going to talk about tonight. I know the graphic is back in session, but with spring ball, but I've got to say this. Mad props to Danny Hurley. Yep, I said it. I'm not a guy who really liked Danny Hurley, but after watching his post-game presser today, I have so much respect for that man, and I would have my son play for him any day. Yeah, I did see that he was talking to the Baylor team warming up as he leaves. That he was frustrated. He was emotional. But if you haven't, go check out his post-game presser. It was really good, okay? It was really, really good. He actually took a lot of blame. He's ready to get back to some normalcy after winning 2 straight. He said he's got to do some things to coach better and all that. So, to me, kudos to Danny Hurley. Hey, big kudos, massive kudos to Dave McCook. Every night, this dude, Dave, supports our channel monetarily, not just in the comments, not calling in, monetarily and financially, giving us super chats, and we appreciate it, Dave. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate you, Dave. Thank you. Hey, someone asked who would win a wrestling match between me and my brother. It'd probably be a tie. We're twins. There was another thing I saw today that I liked in a presser. And I'm curious what you guys take on this. Nate Oates was asked about Will Wade's transparency. And I know it's a word I've used a lot on here, transparency. Nate Oates responded saying, what benefit is there to lie? Just, say what's going on. Address it. I wish more coaches, more people did it like that. That's all I'll say. Maybe you have a different take. Maybe you don't. I absolutely love the fact that Will Wade came out, owned it, said, yep, there's smoke there. Told his players, and Nate Oates agreed. So, to me, that's good. That is good. Have not seen Eric lately, Crystal. Not sure. I'm worried about the O-line. Here's the deal. I said this last year. I was wrong. I'll say it again this year. I may be wrong. They've got good bodies. They've got guys who I think are size-wise good enough to make an impact. They've got a mix of veterans with guys who have been there a while, with guys who are coming from another school, with young dudes. It is now about putting the pieces in the puzzle correctly or giving each one the right seat on the bus and get the bus going in a great direction. Like there needed to be some wholesale changes, some tire changes, some oil changes, everything checked. They've brought in a different mechanic for the offense. Ben Arbuckle, he's tweaking it a little bit. He's figuring things out. They've got a brand new driver for that bus on offense. We'll see what happens. I think they've done a lot of good But until I see it on the field, it's just going to be talk. Good game in LA tonight. Clippers and Thunder. Yeah, Thunder were barely leading at half. I think SG only had 10 in the first half. Hey, Sam Landry, I said this 2 days ago. She's better than Kelly Maxwell, okay? Let's just call it what it is. Her stuff is better. She's got way more movement on her pitches. She can mix it up more. They need Audrey Lowry back. They need Audrey Lowry back soon. And if they don't get her back soon, they either need to bring Monticelli and let her pitch more, or let the Sophie Bordy recruit who's reclassified, who's on campus redshirting, pull a red shirt, see what she can do. Big time win for OU baseball today, winning the series 2-1 against Mississippi State. That's what they had to do. You're 10th ranked in the country. You've got to win that series. They're able to. That was good. Jackson. Sophia Bordy. I'm sure Hunter can correct me if I'm wrong. I thought she was the nation's top pitcher. Okay. Great ending to Maryland, Colorado State. Drop it in here. Drop it in here. Did Queen travel? Because I say he did. Yeah, Sophia Bordy's the best pitcher in the country. I don't know. Yeah, definitely not. Sophia Nugent was a catcher, Jackson, a couple years ago. I think it was a walk. They're going to say, well, it was a gather step. Please. You know what? They didn't used to have a gather step. That was a travel if I've seen one. I mean, Queen was halfway to Queens when he shot that. Now, it was a great fadeaway shot. And I'm going to start with trivia early tonight because I just came up with one. What Indiana player made a game-winning shot very similar to Queen from Maryland today? It was a baseline fadeaway jumper. Who was that player? Who can name it? 918, I'm ready for you. Yeah. Keith Smart. Mark Littlefield gets it. It was Keith Smart. That is correct, Mark. Great job. And by the way, check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com. Sign up for that Shirt of the Month Club. This is one of their shirts. It's elite. It's a cream-colored hoodie. It's awesome. I've got plenty of compliments. Fan Stop, thefanstop.com. Hey, Ron, Sophia Bordy was the #1 pitcher in the country. And guess what, Ron? She should be a high school senior right now. But guess what she did? She reclassified. And therefore, she's on campus right now, Ron, redshirting at the University of Oklahoma. I never said she was a catcher. That was Jackson. And I said she was the top pitcher because I'm almost positive she was out of high school. Oh, she wasn't top rated. Okay. Maybe Hunter can drop where she was. I know Audrey Lowry was the #1 pitcher, and I thought Sophia Bordy was as well for her class. But whatever. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Hey, I'm not scared to admit I'm wrong. It's Sunday night. I'll admit it. I'll admit it any night that ends in Y. What's up? What happened with OU softball? They won 5-1. They struggled early, getting runs, and then they broke out of it. Hey, Hunter, is that the 5th best pitcher or player? I'm curious. I was wrong. I thought she was the top pitcher. So, yeah, it sounds like Xavier. I don't know if it's official yet. Sooner Cowboys. I'd heard Sean Miller was going to be the guy at Texas. You know, he just beat Texas, and now they said, "Hey, let's go hire him," which is interesting. Yeah, I just mentioned baseball big time to come from behind last night. I think getting that win last night really helped today, and they got it. So, yeah, Sophia Bordy, 5th best pitcher, Ron. You're correct. She's not the top pitcher, but she will be when she's gets with Jen Rocha. So, I'd still say use her right now, and I want to see a little more Monticelli. If Sean Miller, if it's official, and I think it will be, maybe it already is, start watching for Porter Moser Xavier talk. Start watching for Porter Moser at Xavier. I can look up the tournament challenge really quickly. I know Greg God's in the lead, and I'll reveal the results here in a second. Greg God's going to be tough to catch. I've not checked since today though to see kind of what the bracket looks like. I'm pulling it up right now. He had a rough day today, Greg God says. There's 38 people in this bracket challenge, and if you're one of them, appreciate it very much. Greg God is first. K Wright is second. And H Howells is third. I don't know. But Greg God has a pretty commanding lead right now. Pretty commanding lead. Still 99.9% percentile. So really good, Greg God. But now he's 9,000th in the country. Dropped a lot. Greg God's total points, guys. Greg God's total points max is 1,680. Okay, the next closest is 1,540. There it is. There's a little breakdown. Hey, spring practice back in session tomorrow. I, for one, hope we start getting some talk. And Hunter, if you want to go ahead and open the phone lines, that'd be great, just to get people calling in if they want to early on here tonight. Since I'm here alone, we can just go ahead and get people calling in. Here it is. Thanks, Hunter, for popping the link in there. Appreciate you, Hunter, running the chat, keeping it rolling. Sooner WX. Yeah, I do think they could get Crutchfield. I would love to be able to get Richard Pitino. What's the score in that game? They were up at half. Michigan State started the second half strong. Curious what the score is on that, as well as the Oregon-Arizona. Oregon could be a sleeper right now. Dana Altman is unbelievable, okay? Man, I would love for OU to get a guy like that. Sooner fan says, Eichert and Lehman were very impressed that Mateer spent spring break training with Gibson and Burks. Now, I've got some thoughts on that. Am I impressed? Check. Am I impressed that Burks and Gibson stayed? Check. Does that mean that Burks isn't hurt? Check. So we can put that talk down. In the end, what it shows me is there is some dedication and some leadership. And I think Arbuckle has a lot to do with, but I think John Mateer for sure. And by the way, my oldest son looks like John Mateer. I'm just saying, I'll show you a picture. He's growing his hair out. He's going to be Mateer 2.0, looking like him. But I do think that that's something you really never saw last year. Maybe they didn't talk about it, though. But look, there's going to be some chemistry with Giovanni Gibson and Mateer, I think. I just think there's going to be. To me, it's going to be the ability for Mateer to scan the field, maybe get to his third read some. He definitely has his head on a swivel more than anyone they've had lately, at least when you watch tape of his. So, and Chester's right. Eichert and Lehman were also high on Gavin Freeman, Caleb Hicks, and Eugene Brooks. Now, I was high on Eugene Brooks. I would like for him to still be at OU. But we got Jackson on the line. What's up, Jackson?
What's up, Germ? As you look forward maybe to this week of spring, as everything just starts up after all the players are getting back from break and everything, I feel like really it's maybe been, I would say, a little bit quiet just from things we've heard. Obviously, we've heard about John Mateer. He's doing extremely well, which I don't think is shocking to most of us. And then I think you've heard some about Giovanni Gibson. You've heard a little bit about Marvin Jones Jr. and Kendall Daniels, but outside of that, I feel like it's been relatively quiet. So maybe as spring practice starts to progress and get farther along, is there anyone that you really want to hear maybe their names start to show up about, hey, this player's starting to step up and perform better?
I want to hear, look, for Susie and Foji, there's been talk too.
Yeah.
I want to hear someone in the tight end room step up. I don't care who it is.
I agree.
I don't give a rip who it is. I just want to hear that someone's impressing people at the tight end position. Okay, that's probably it. That and corner, I think, are the two positions I want to hear people say, "Wow, this dude's looking strong there." That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it was Gabe Eicher that said something about Ryan Foje being an elite guard one day. I don't know if you heard that, but do you think maybe he continues to play guard if he's even playing guard or not, or if he's a
I
tackle?
do think that's what he's going to play. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked, but if you potentially maybe on the right or maybe even the left side of your line can have Ryan Foje along with Michael Fasusi, you're talking about an elite
I don't
offensive
know if they'll
line
play two
potential.
freshmen, but it
No, no,
does
no,
sound
but
like they're
no,
doing great.
I'm not talking about for this upcoming year, but just for the future.
Oh, for the future, yeah, you
Like
got two studs.
right, and I think there's a chance that both those guys are All Americans in the future, along with Owen Hollenbeck, who I think is going to be a really good center in the future. You have EPL, Isaiah Autry Dent, who's super young at tackle, so you really have a lot along that offensive line. But also, this is something I don't know, maybe if we've talked about it a lot, but I'm sure we all have seen the photos of Jim Nagy out at practice and everything. And I'm interested to see after spring, after he has a chance to evaluate the roster and everything, see what kind of changes are maybe made to the team, whether that's some surprising guys leaving or maybe some surprising guys even transferring in. But why do you have the light? Is this some sunshine for you?
Yeah, a little bit. Hey, Jackson, I look. I like that Nagy's there. I'm going
Yeah,
to say something that, and by the way, I have to respond to the comment. Yeah, it's Audrey Lowry who's hurt for OU softball, and it's a muscle strain.
strain. Okay.
Muscle
Yeah.
strain, not muscle sprain. But you're right. Lowry is the one that's hurt, and I hope she's back soon. But if not, they really need to consider Sophia Bordy. But hey, back to what you were just saying. Here's what I would love right now. And if I was at OU, this is what I would promote right now. If I was in the organization, and I'm probably going to get laughed at on here, and I may even get ripped. And guess what? I could care less. But here's what I'm going to say. You know what I would like from now until the end of spring practice for there to be? I don't really care about what other people are saying about. I would like for the coaches to at least speak, and I'm talking every coach. I want to hear
I
from Miguel.
agree.
I want to hear from Miguel Chavis. I think every day, or at least one, like Monday, we hear from all the defensive coaches. Wednesday, we hear from all the offensive coaches.
Yeah.
I want to hear from all of them. I want to hear Joe John Finley. I want to hear Bill Beanabo. I want to hear about the guys.
I
And I
agree.
want there to be transparency. And, this guy's got to be better. This guy's been strong. Like, to me, that's what I want. I'm never going to get it. This isn't a dream world. I get it, but I would love that.
Yeah. And this comment here is saying, here we go, the whole O line, I'm calling them all going to be All Americans and stuff. It's not, there's nothing wrong with saying that those two guys have a chance to be All Americans with how special they were coming out of high school.
Well, they have a
Those are two of the best
until
guys.
you see it in SEC play, you can't really
Yes,
use
no,
the word All-American.
I'm saying that they have the chance. If they develop right, they have the chance because the talent's there and the ceiling's there. And for this one, I have the under at 9 wins, Germ. I'm sure you agree with that.
I do too. You going the game tomorrow, Jackson?
Yeah, I am. Big game for OU. Chance for Jenny Bronchek to get that team over the hump. All the students get in free, which was really kind of annoying because I bought my ticket this morning, paid $15, and then they announced it's free. But
Learn your lesson, man. Learn your lesson.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if I get a refund on it though.
I doubt it. Give it to someone else. Offer it up to someone else. Okay.
Yep. I know. It's super exciting. Chance for OU to get to the Sweet 16. I think we've talked about this team being really, really good. Chance to get to the Elite Eight potentially that good. But if Reagan Beers continues to do what she did against Florida Gulf Coast, this Oklahoma team can beat about anyone if Reagan Beers is that good.
We'll see. Hey, thanks, Jackson.
Yep.
Hey, I've got to talk with. I see some of the comments on here. Will John Mateer have the receiving core to put up elite numbers? I'm not so sure. I think the answer is we don't know yet. Now, I've seen, like, I do think Giovanni Gibson is going to be more than serviceable. In fact, I'll say this, and I don't think this is pumping sunshine. I just don't think it is. I don't think there's any chance the receiving core is going to be even close to as bad as it was last year. I mean, you go back and look, Zion Reagans, Brennan Thompson. Now, we thought those guys, not Reagans, we did. We thought Brennan Thompson might be something pretty special. Obviously didn't turn out to be. The thing about Giovanni Gibson that I love is his size. Now, I'll believe it when I see it, but You can't argue that he's got the size. He seems to have those tools. Okay. Now, and I get that we're never going to hear from the coaches, but it would be great to, because I'm with 918, Great God, Ron, all the people on here that are saying this. I could care less about what everyone's saying about spring practice. It's ridiculous. It's pointless. It doesn't matter. NIL commish, by the way, I saw some of your videos. Someone told me to check them out. Some good stuff. Hey, I got the under. I think 8 maybe is where we're at. If OU can win the close games. Chester, I said I did. I thought Brennan Thompson was going to be a guy who could extend the field. And Chester, you have to admit you probably did too. I mean, based on some success he had where he extended the field the year before that, I thought he might be one to extend the field. I thought he would be better than he was. He was horrible. He was horrible. Of course, the entire offense was absolutely atrocious. I want to vomit and puke every time I think about last year's offense. And I almost want to vomit and puke that Joe John Finley is still a part of it this year. By the way, where is he? Where is Joe John? I think he should have to talk to the media just to see where he's at. I haven't seen him. Simone, listen, I actually put you on a prayer report with the group that I'm with because, and I'm going to be praying for you because I know you had some issues and you're going to the doctor, and now it looks like getting your kidney removed on Tuesday. So definitely going to be praying that all that goes well and that whatever is going on, they can find answers for, man. Thanks for being on here, Simone. Seriously, we'll be lifting you up. If OU loses more than 5 games, fire everybody, Sooner Cowboy says. I want to because Joe Compliance is still employed. And I know what people are saying, and there was some talk on this. I got to bring it up. Jim Nagy, Joe C., President Harris, all at the OU women's game. And I heard people say, and I'm just saying this because this is my take on it. Wow. Joe C., the president, they're all at the women's basketball game. They care more about women's basketball than they do anything in the men's. Hogwash. Stop it. Do you know why Jim Nagy? Now, I don't even know why Jim Nagy, probably because he's new on campus. But do you know why President Harris and Joe C. were at that game, everybody? It was an NCAA tournament game that they were hosting. And yes, Joe C. was at the men's game too. I agree. But there are people implying that because they were at the LNC for the women's game, that they care more about that than the men. And that they only care about women's sports. That is so ridiculous of a statement. Like, open your eyes and understand what's going on. They were hosting an NCAA tournament game. If they're not in attendance, then I got major questions. Major questions at that point. Now, Jim Nagy new there. And Jerry, I can't believe it either. I just want to know what he's doing. I've said this once. I've said it twice. I'll say it 16 times, 25 times. I think Kevin Wilson is going to help with the tight ends more than people think. I think one of his roles is going to be to have 2 eyes on Joe John Finley and a voice for the tight ends. I just really do. Ron, yes, Ron. If they don't make the playoff, he should go bye-bye. Do you want me to say it every night? Should I start every night saying it? I say it all the time. Playoffs are bust, Ron. Greg God, what's the comment that Joe John Finley is elite? I want the quote dropped in there. I didn't see it. Drop the quote in there or drop the link of where he said that. Good. If criticism doesn't help them do better, than what will? No, there should be criticism. Everyone should be under a microscope. And guess what? Everyone should be under a microscope every year, not just when you're losing. Hey, I just realized, and Hunter, we got KB on here. I didn't even realize it. KB, what's up? Sorry, I didn't even see that you were on here. I'm losing my focus. Sorry, man.
No problem, Jerm. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Hey, I think the two things I think on your football team, my outside looking in, is going to be Mateer and your offensive line. And the only reason I say Mateer is I think he's a good quarterback. But the SEC is going to be different. There's going to be people coming off the edge at him in the SEC that he didn't see where he was at. And it kind of is the same thing with the young offensive line. You know, Kelvin Banks started with Texas as a freshman, but we were in the Big 12. I don't know that he would have had such a success as a freshman starting in the SEC like he did. It's just a whole different beast. And I think those are the two things that's going to hinge on it, is how they, how they handle that part of it.
Yeah, and here's the deal. I know you've got to win now. For your future, you're better off if you can get away with playing one of those guys, because one, they practice better than the others, and two, that looks like they can be that guy. In the end, you're better off if you can play the freshman.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
You can't play them if they're not going to be able to hold their own.
No. And it's easier to play one of them if you got four more or three
Correct.
more on the line. They can. But when you're playing, two or three, maybe young guys or two or three guys that hadn't played very much, that gets pretty tough,
Correct.
Because there's nobody to kind of step in there and give direction.
I agree with that. And Banks is a good example. I mean, Banks is a great example. So
yeah, and like I said, honestly, he did great as a freshman, but that was the Big 12. I don't know that he'd have done that good in the SEC starting as a freshman. It's just two totally different beasts.
Yeah. And the other thing, KB, that I think, because I agree with Dalpos, there's a lot of people, including me, who thought the O-line would be okay last year. And we were wrong. But I will say this. You can even look at Texas. When the coordinator and when the scheme is good, the O-line has a lot better chance.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, when you got the pieces around you, everything works better. So like You're talking about your wide receivers, if you end up with some decent wide receivers, it's going to help you a lot too. If you don't, then that's going to hurt you as well. It's just, it's just, I know it sucks kind of being where you're at. There's a lot of holes and not many answers right at the moment, but it's just one of them deals. You kind of got to work through it,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks, prayers up to Famone, and y'all have a good night, and your father.
Appreciate it, KB. Thanks so much.
You bet.
Didn't this O-line tie for most sacks? Yes, they did. And again, I'm going to say with the scheme, the scheme, the identity, I think, and there'll be a couple guys that aren't playing from last year's line. That's just a fact. But yeah, we'll see if they can turn around. I mean, I wanted to get to Crystal. First off, I don't really care if people think that I might change my mind. It doesn't matter. We've done this over a year. People are on here every night watching. They hear my annoying voice all the time, and yet they still come back. They know I'm usually a man of my word. So I'll own up to it when I'm wrong, and I won't brag about it when I'm right. That's just who I am, okay? So if I'm wrong, but I'm not someone who switches and flip-flops. I will say that. Hey, Hawkins, I think, is the best thing about having Hawkins as backup is if Mateer needs to run the ball, I don't think they'll just try to hold him back from running the ball. But to me, you can't have a guy like Mateer get injured. You really need him. You really, really need him. And Greg, I still would like to see either the quote or the link to where that is so I can watch it, because I'm not sure he said elite with Joe John Finley. In fact, I don't even know how much he knew Joe John Finley when they asked him that question. Now, what he should have said is, I don't really know Joe John Finley. That would be transparent. But I don't remember what he said. So someone needs to figure it out, put it in. I'd love to see the link. So, yes, Ron, he's going to be the backup. You're just trying to get me going, dude. I'm not even. Yeah, drop it in the Discord. Or you can drop it in here if you want. So, yeah. I get that. So you're telling me the context of it right there. It was the first press conference, which means, I mean, listen, that's not very transparent because anyone who's watched any OU football or anything with Joe John Finley would know that elite is probably not the word. Now, and I agree, KB. That's what I hate coach speak. I hate it. I hate coach speak, period. I want transparency, full transparency. Look, that's what it should be. So, what else is going on? Baseball team, big win. Women's basketball tomorrow to get to the Sweet 16 against Iowa. Lane says Hawkins will get more time developing his footwork, defensive zones, and audibles. Agreed. The best thing that could have happened to Hawkins is for him to sit this year in redshirt. It's the best thing. And people think, well, he won't redshirt. Yeah, he might redshirt. Who's the other guy that got in? Gonzalez? They may use him in mop-up duty. So, what did Chester say about the line? I missed it. But right here he says, watch that line real close this year. Hey, Wamblero, and I wish they shipped internationally, but they don't. But this is a Fan Stop hoodie. Check out the Fan Stop at thefanstop.com and sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Do it, man. Do it. Use code SURGE, get 10% off your first 3 months. Ron, he's the backup if Mateer goes down, yes. But I'm saying if you don't need him, you redshirt him. And 6-0 Chevy, I get that coaches aren't going to tell fans everything, but in my opinion, the answer would have been, I've not really been around Joe John Finley. This is what Belt Buckle, I think, should have said. I haven't been around Joe John Finley at all. I really haven't followed kind of his coaching tree. Excited to get to work with them and work together and get this train rolling. And I should be a PR guy or something. I think that was a pretty good answer. And I didn't lie at all. That was actually full transparency. Now, if Arbuckle worked with Finley, it's different. I don't think they've ever crossed paths. Yeah, I saw someone post something in the Discord today, Wamblero. Jaden O'Neal basically said it's nice being right across from your dream school or living so close, but communication needs to be better. Thought that was interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I paraphrased that incorrectly. Hey, Chuck, with my answer right there, with what I said, was there anything wrong with what I said? What Arbuckle could have said? How is that showing my hand? Now, I agree in some cases you don't want to show your hand, but you know what you say then? I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to answer that question. That's transparency. I don't want to show my hand. I'm not going to answer the question. That's transparency. I knew we would get into talk about transparency tonight. It seems to be what we always do. Should have asked Matt about Joe John Finley. I'm curious what Jim Nagy thinks of Joe John Finley. He's not a coaching evaluator. He's a player evaluator. But Matt Rhodes says, Joe John Finley, Brent Venables, DeMarco Murray, Arbuckle, Josie should all be fired immediately. Well, they won't be. That's your opinion. If you think they all should be fired. I agree. A couple maybe. Maybe could be let go, but they're not. You guys do remember the DeMarco Murray stuff heated up in the offseason last year with Ohio State. I don't think OU lose the coach before the season. I'd be shocked. But, man, never know. What was the stuff with high school? Maybe you can find it, Hunter. I missed something. A debate here between Chester and Gray God. I need to get the context of that comment before I comment on it. Oh, maybe it's about Bentley. Bo is good, but Gray God said he's high on O'Neal. Chuck says you're talking to 6-0 Chevy. No, not. Oh, okay. Yeah, my emotional intelligence. Okay, yeah, cool. Good to hear. Murray leave, take Joe John with you. Probably not going to happen. I like how Patty Gasto handles tricky issues. You know what? I've heard her say that comment, Juan Blero, multiple times. I'll just leave it at that. And what she does when she says that is she's implying something, and you, the audience, needs to figure out what it is. I love it too. I absolutely love it. Okay? And you know what? Patty Gasso is pretty transparent. She'll say why she makes decisions. Absolutely will. 918 likes Bentley over Jaden O'Neal. So it seems like people are kind of mixed on that. So, yeah, Sam Landry. I tell you what, the arm of Sam Landry is going to carry this team, I think, to a fifth natty. If they don't overuse her during the season, she's got to still have that energy as it gets into the postseason. They've got to figure out, Deal was better yesterday. She allowed one homer and then settled down. Ideally, you don't want Landry pitching 2 games out of every 3. You just don't. 1 out of 3 or 1, and then maybe a relief getting a close. That would be my perfect scenario. Pitch her a game and then 1 game, let her close it out if they need her because they have a 1-run lead or something like that. That's what I foresee. But competition is going to get tough. It's going to get fun. My brother is not here right now. He's with family. Wasn't going to be able to make it tonight. I knew this going into it, but guess what? Why would I can do this thing solo. I can do this with people or without. We want to still do it because, look, full transparency. While it's not always easy to be on here every night, and sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I'm strolling in the pod room about 9:28 because I just got home thinking, man, not much energy, but we bring it every night. And that's one thing Jay and I said when we started the Double Trouble originally and the Sooner Surge live show at 9:30. We said, you know what? It's going to be something we're going to do every night. Every night. Unless there's some emergency or extenuating circumstance, we're going to be a live show every single night. Because you know what? Not a lot of people do that. And growing up, Jay and I love listening to Arnie Spaniard. We would lay in our room at 11 o'clock at night and listen to Arnie Spaniard National Sports Talk on the radio. We just absolutely loved listening to the sports talk late at night. So it's something we've always had a dream of, hobby of kind of wanting to do. And we're able to do this. But again, appreciate you guys. You're on there every night. Make it easy. Hey, well, my family's in bed too, so it makes it easier too. Not always, but there was something I wanted to see earlier, and I can't. My computer's not scrolling up right now, so I'll have to look through it. But it was about football. Juan Blero said you used to watch Dean Blevins, and I got one. What about George Michael's Sports Machine? You guys remember that? That was elite. Sooner Thrawn says new quarterback, new OC, young O-line, young O-line, hardest schedule you ever had. If Brent goes 8-4, should get another year because our 2026 should be easier schedule. Now, while I agree they'll give him another year at 8-4. Me personally, I'm not changing my tune because I said playoffs are bust. Now, if playoffs were 4 teams, I would agree with you. But they're 12 teams. You've got to, at some point you can't, and I've been the same with Porter Moser. You can't just keep accepting things, okay? If no change are being made. Now, they made some changes, though, this year. I agree. But if the result's the same, then he's got to go. Michigan State won. Tom Izzo knows how to coach, doesn't he? Tom Izzo knows how to coach in March. Wow, Tom Izzo. I had notification on here. I thought someone said something about Porter Moser, but it did not. What's the best Rocky movie? I'm going OG, always. And I agree. NIL commission, 9 wins, he keeps his job. Because in my opinion, 9-3 should get in the playoff. And I'll say this. If you're 9-3 and you don't get in the playoff, I'll be shocked with the OU schedule, but it did happen last year where 3 or 4 were left out with that. So Yeah, Al is still on the sports animal from 4 to 6 o'clock, I believe. We've got Porter Moser Stan on the line. What's up?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man.
So, just from things that I've kind of heard in some hoop circles, and I'm sure this is quite obvious, but he wants out. He wants out, and I think I'm honestly, I've been back and forth on it just personally. I think he's going to take a high mid-major job, just to get out if the buyout money is right, if they can kind of come to a agreement on the buyout issue. I just
What
wanted
about
to see your thoughts.
one spot is Xavier? Now, I think Xavier's a really good basketball program, though. I know
Sure.
he's more from the Illinois area. That's Ohio, but it's closer to where he's kind of from. And Xavier's a good program.
I'm
Because Sean
surprised.
Miller go to Texas, that's going to be open. Now,
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't been linked. Like his name, like his agent has done a hell of a job, like just linking his name to any opening, like the DePaul thing, the North. I mean, his name has been linked several times throughout his tenure here. I think that maybe Chris Mack, just because of the history, but
yeah.
I would almost bet he would take like a VCU or something like that just to get out.
Well, do you think, and just curious because he wants out, let's say, if you have a coach who wants out, you have two choices. You can let him go, just get rid of him, but
Right.
then you got to pay the buyout, or you can just hope he gets another job so you don't have to pay the buyout. That's what OU needs to hope.
That's a tough situation because I was just in the Curry Hicks space. He does the off season well connected hoops guy. But I went up there and spoke for a second, and he was kind of asking me what's the financial, NIL situation at OU, and I told him, it's between 2 and 2.5, just as a general. And he was like, wow. He was like, I didn't know that. He was like, I was giving him a lot of slack or a lot of grief, but it's hard to win with that kind of money at it. He's like, that's approaching high mid-major money, as far as NIL money goes. He goes, but he also said that Porter is actually like he's heard from well-connected people that Porter's tried to assemble staffs already, like to leave in previous years, especially with the DePaul
And
thing
see,
last year.
and I'm going to keep my comment to myself on that because
Yeah,
I don't want to rip
no, I'm with.
Moser. I don't want to rip
I
Moser
know
too
where you're
much.
going
That's
with it.
weak. That's weak
Yeah,
sauce.
right. But like I said, he wants out. If the dude wants out, and I can't blame him in a major, a lot of that. But the whole staff thing, I was kind of surprised by. But it's never made sense from a fit perspective. Like ever since he got here, it just he's a Northeast or he's a Midwest guy. He's a Catholic. It screams Big East, right?
It does. I mean, that's where he needs to go. And look, OU's got to improve the NIL. There's no doubt about it. But it's going to be interesting the next. Let me ask you this before you get off here.
Sure.
Will we know in a week? Because I say within this next week we should know.
I think I'm with you, especially the portal opens tomorrow, and I I honestly would go to say I think we know by Wednesday, because I think and this year I'm not even going to be as long as you don't lose Dayton. Hopefully you can keep Jeff. Maybe Duke and Mo. I'm not going to be upset by anybody who leaves this year, honestly, just because the talent level really sucks. Um, I think we'll know by Wednesday or Thursday, but that's
Yeah,
just
the dominoes are going to fall. I mean,
hundred
across the
percent,
country. So, yeah.
100%, man. All right,
Hey,
brother. Have a good
appreciate
night.
the info. Thanks. Yeah. Dominoes are going to fall because some of those teams are out. And here's the deal: I would love to be able to keep Wiggy. I would love to be able to keep anyone they can keep, but the 2.5 seems a little low. Because I thought Fears had to have got between 750 and a mil. Like I would say their NIL may be closer to 3.5. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in the know at all. So now I will say this too about the Porter Moser stuff, because I've been highly critical. I gave him massive props and kudos for how they ended the year, and they did not lose to UConn because of Porter Moser. They couldn't make shots. But I'll say this: he's lost some games he shouldn't. He's won some games he shouldn't. Okay, all those are true. He's not been able to retain a lot of guys. Now, New Mexico lost, so C.J. Nolan's officially out of the tournament, but Uzan and Owe are still playing. But one of the – I think really what you just said is he's just not a good fit. Listen, he had 2 good seasons in his entire coaching career, and they were heck of a seasons. Final Four and Sweet 16 at Loyola. That's what they were. However, you take those 2 years out, he's well below 500. So, look, I'm just ready to move on. If he's going to be here, and I don't like hearing that, he just wants to go somewhere else. You can't have him on campus then. Sorry. If word gets out that that's what, you can't have him here. You've got to do something. You've got to cut ties. You've got to figure it out. So we'll see. Hey, listen, it has been fun. It went by quickly. We're at 46 minutes. I want to say thank you so much to Dave McCook. Dave McCook for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate you. All you guys with your compliments about the Sooner Surge channel, really, really appreciate it. It's not just lip service, okay? I talk about you guys to people at my job, to people in my family. People in my family know your names because they hear me talk about you often, okay? So I appreciate you all. Thanks for being on here. Hit the like before you go. Before you leave, hit the like, please. Let's get 100 likes tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow night. The Twins will be back together, reunited tomorrow night. Thanks, everyone. Hit the like and check out the fan stop, please. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a marvelous Monday.